Hi Anna, Mr. McConaughey here. So let's go ahead and go over the problems that I assigned and gave to you the other day here. So the first one we'll look at is on page 209, and it's one of the word problems, the story problems, number 39. And these are very similar to problem 40, which we did together. So let's go ahead and talk about how we analyze this problem. So let's read, first thing you want to do is just read the whole problem. Your brother has saved $2,000 for a vacation. Airplane ticket is $637. So write and solve an inequality to find how much he can spend for everything else. So this is telling us that we have $2,000 to save, and that's the max amount. So the way that I'm going to show this is to say, here's my 2,000. Okay, and I can't spend any more than $2,000. I have to keep everything else that I spend less than 2,000. Okay, so let's go ahead and look at this again. So we've got 2,000 total, and his airplane ticket is $637. And then we want to see how much else he can spend, which is X. Okay, so what we need to say is we want something that X is going to be less than an amount. X less than an amount. So what are we going to do? We're going to subtract $637 from both sides. Okay? So what do we have? This cancels. We've got X less than this. And let's go ahead and subtract 637 from 2,000. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to have a 9 here. 10 minus 7 is 3, 9 minus 3 is 6, and 20 minus 6 is 14. So this tells us that we have $1,463 max that we could spend. So if we graphed this, we would have 1463, open circle or closed circle? Open circle, right? Because we have a less than, not an equal. And open circle, and we'll point to the left because we have to be under 1463. Okay? All right, let's go to the next problem. Now, number 41 says a school club is selling reflectors for Bicycle Safety Day. Each member is encouraged to sell at least 50. At least. So that means greater than or equal. Greater than or equal. Okay. So greater than or equal to 50. It says that on Monday we sold 17, and on Tuesday we sold 12. How many reflectors do you need to sell on Wednesday? So X will be the amount that we need to sell on Wednesday. So the first thing, let's combine the 17 and 12, and that's 29. So let's go ahead and subtract 29 from both sides. So this says that we have to sell at least 21 reflectors. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. Let's go ahead to the next problem. Okay, so number 62, this is a gymnastics problem. Suppose your sister wants to qualify for a regional gymnastics competition. She needs to score at least 34 points. At least means what? What does at least mean? It means greater than or equal to. So she needs to score at least 34.0. And she has scored an 8.8, a 7.9, and an 8.2 in three of the exercises. So what does she need to score to get over 34? So first thing that we have to do, let's combine these. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add these up. And they add up to 24.9. So we need to subtract 24.9 from both sides. And we get 9.1. So this says she would have to score at least a 9.1. And I'll go ahead and just graph this real quick. Open circle or closed circle? It's a closed circle because we have to score at least. At least. And then it says we'll go to the right. So we have to have at least a 9.1, or we can have greater, and that will put her over the top. Okay? So there's our inequality. Our original inequality is right here. Okay, so that is A, and write three scores that the sister could make: 9.1, 9.2, 9.3. Okay, that's all you need to do. Alright, let's go ahead and go to the next problems. Okay, so the next set of problems was on page 215. It's 1 to 20 odd. We had 44 and 78. Now I'm not going to do all of these. I'm just going to pick a couple, and we can talk about, you've got, they're odd problems, so you can check the answers in the back of the book here. And if you have any questions or didn't get all of them right, we'll go over them here this week. All right, so let's go ahead and take one. Let's do number 5. Number 5 is a good one. So we've got -2 less than y over 2. So how are we going to solve this? We have to get the y by itself, obviously. How are we going to do that? We're going to multiply by 2 on both sides. Make sense? So what's 2 times -2? That's -4. And the 2's cancel, and we have y is greater than -4. Now, do we flip the inequality here? Do we flip this? Because, gosh, I have a negative involved. And the answer is no, we don't flip the inequality. We only flip the inequality if we multiply by a negative number. Did we multiply by a negative number? No. This number right here is positive. Okay? And then our graph will be open circle, and greater than means we go to the right. Okay? All right, let's pick another one here. Let's let's pick number 11. Number 11. All right, let's go ahead and set this up. -5/7 times x is greater than -5. Okay, what are we going to do here? We need to get rid of this fraction, of course, the -5/7. How can we get rid of that? We can multiply both sides by -7/5. That would allow us to get rid of the 7's, the 5's, and the negatives would change to a plus. This would give us x is greater than, oh, hold it, we're multiplying by a negative. So we're not going to keep this as greater than, we have to flip, right? We multiplied by a negative number. If we multiply by a negative number, we have to switch the inequality sign. So we go from a greater than to a less than. All right, let's go ahead and finish the problem here. Our -5's will cancel, and we'll be left with 7. So x is less than 7, and is this an open circle or closed circle? It's an open circle because it's just less than, no line underneath, and we'll go to the left, less than 7. Okay, hopefully you got that. We'll talk about the rest of them fairly quickly when we get together this week, all right? All right, let's look at number 44. So what we have here is we have this original inequality. -b is greater than 3.4, and it says how do we make that equivalent to this inequality? B is less than or equal to -3.4. Well, the way we do that is we divide both sides of the inequality by -1. What's -b divided by -1? Well, we change the signs, And negative b over negative 1 gets us to b. What's 3.4 divided by negative 1? Well, it's negative 3.4. And remember, we have to flip the inequality because why? We divided by a negative number. Okay, let's go over this last problem, 78. I gave this to you. This is just kind of a reasoning problem. And it says that if a, b, and c, now we don't have b in this problem. So a and c are real numbers. And if that's true, if c is less than 0, then for what values of a is a times c less than a? Okay, so we have to figure out how is this going to work. You can do this a couple of different ways. Let's just try a couple of numbers, okay? Let's say a is a positive number, and let's choose 5, okay? Let a equal 5. Okay, so now it tells us here that c is less than 0. So c is a negative number. So 5 times a negative number is going to be what? 5 times a negative number is going to be a negative number, okay? So it's going to be negative 5c. Let's just say that. It's going to be a negative number. I don't like the way I wrote that. So a times c is negative. And a is positive. So, can a negative, I'm going to write it like this, can a negative number be less than a positive number? Yes, that makes sense, right? That makes complete sense. So certainly if a is positive, then this works. What about 0? 0 times a number is 0, and 0. Is 0 less than 0? No. And let's try a negative number. I'm just going to talk you through it. If a is negative, then a times c is going to be what? It'll be a negative times a negative, or a positive. And a is a negative. So is a positive less than a negative? No. Okay? So it works for positive numbers. And if you didn't quite get that, maybe go back and just listen to this section again. And again, try it with a couple more numbers, and you'll see how that works out. And if you still don't get it, we'll talk about it this week, all right? So I hope this was helpful, and I will see you a little bit later this week. Bye-bye.